Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Just heading out for a minute. Got literally my poncho on and everything. So I'm just super lazy today. Friday night, just relaxing. Uh, and uh, I'm honestly kind of debating whether or not I want to post this, but I'm just gonna record it just because I've been following the case, and final statements were made this past Wednesday, I think, a few days ago. So everything's now out there in terms of what was said in court, and now there's now people can now form an opinion. There's no verdict yet. I think he'll be fine when it's all said and done. But as I've mentioned on this channel before, though, I don't think that he's completely 100% innocent, though, in general. And I don't know. I just feel like kind of talking about it for a little bit, just because we only knew certain things here and there about the case. Like, we knew things about, like, the altercation that took place in the car. We're talking about Jonathan Majors, by the way. The whole debacle that's been going on with him. And, here are the facts. Because, look, there are some people out there that are making snap judgments in regards to this whole thing. And it's not as big as some people are making out to be. Like, people were like calling the girl like an Amber Heard type thing. I think that you're just willfully ignorant, because these two people are the complete polar opposites in my book. Amber Heard is just a fucking, like, evil person, while this person, like, how can you compare someone who shat on someone's bed to someone who is clearly distraught, and someone who has been clearly manipulated? Because that's how I am judging this. I'm not judging this as like, what's the word? I'm not judging this as Team Majors all the way. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Majors is completely innocent either, because I'm just finding a quick place to park, just because I had to close the garage door and everything. But here are the facts, right? Here's the things that people like need to understand. That these are the facts, because I've been following the case. I've actually been watching this really good YouTube channel that's been pretty much giving me all the information, and they're not filtering out their opinion. Like, they're not inserting their opinion within giving information. They're just handing the information, and then later on they give an opinion. Because how some news outlets, they'll just fucking manipulate information and make it sound a certain way, which is basically just inserting a bias while handing you information at the same time. It's just fucking manipulative. But this guy was not doing that, so I'll link his channel. He was detailing each day at court what happened. And basically, here are the facts. Here's what we know about what happened. There was an altercation that happened in a vehicle this past March, and she got physical with him, potentially, and he may have got potentially physical with her over a text message that Majors got from another girl, insinuating infidelity, cheating, and from what I've done my research on, apparently he is apparently he's not extremely loyal. At least it seems. At least that's the suggested idea. He fled. One party will tell you that because she was being completely, psychopathic, while the other will say that she's, in a kind of play, like kind of in a victim sort of position, like trying to like get, his approval sort of thing. When you're like in a abusive relationship, it's like mentally you are obedient, and it's cruel. And I saw the footage, like, because there was a dash cam, or not dash cam footage, there was a security cam footage of that when happened, and that's how I took it, as someone who's who has been mentally abused, because it just seemed like the physical actions, at least to me, how it seemed. I'm not a therapist, but I'm just saying, like, that's just how I read it. And Major's pushing her in the car and all that. It's like, yeah, I don't know. That's not how I would treat someone. So, and then she went out clubbing, and there's proof of that. They've showed footage of her at a club, and she then came home back to Jonathan's home, and she may or may not have been suicidal based on what Jonathan said to the cops and all that, and just based on how he was seeing the situation. I didn't see there's apparently body cam footage out there. I was not going to watch it though, because that's just way too graphic, so I'm not going to watch that. So that's kind of up in the air for me, but there is potential that she was suicidal, and she probably was, because we'll get more into like the text messages and shit. But basically, that was the thing. And he got arrested based on what she told the police, how she felt uncomfortable around him, and apparently there were also physical bruises and all these other things, and he got arrested. Then he decided to file a complaint like a few months later after this whole thing happened. And now here we are at trial. So, and I did a video before about this. The man is not innocent. You all want to say he's completely innocent, and I will agree with you that he is innocent in this incident, okay? Because everything that I just said to you, Majors hadn't done anything wrong in this incident. There's no assault that really took place as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the car thing, like pushing her in the car, like that's not cool. It's not good character, I'll say that, but I don't know if I would consider it assault. I don't know. I won't get into debates of that, but as far as I can tell anyway, he didn't do anything wrong that night. But his attorneys fucked up, and what happened was that they sealed certain evidence from the court before they started trial. And I made the video about that when that happened, saying that that there's some shit in there that would fuck him up, and that would ruin or that would really put a bad taste for his case. And they slipped up. The attorney slipped up during cross-examination, and that evidence was now allowed in the courtroom. And you saw text messages, very disturbing text messages, with Majors like insinuating suicide on his side, and all this other stuff. After she makes it seem that she's suicidal, and asking to go to a hospital and all this sort of stuff. And instead of Majors being more caring and respectful, he is more considering of his image, and decides to play more manipulative tactics by insinuating suicide, when really he's not suicidal. Let's just be frank. I know it's a bold statement to say, but anybody who's ever been manipulated or has been through any kind of mental abuse knows that that is manipulative tactics. When someone is doing something and they're in a bad position and you wish to control that situation, sometimes you say things, or sometimes you say certain things, certain alarming things, just to get them to be obedient. It's not just to, it's not out of a seriousness or all that sort of stuff. Like, he's doing it to control her, and to, spare all that stuff. Because if she were to go to the hospital and, they would have to ask her certain questions and stuff like that. She even said on the text messages that I will lie because I love you and all that sort of stuff. Say all this stuff. It's like, this is clearly a woman who has been mentally abused and is not fully right in the head. And there's also audio out there now of like majors like asking her to be a certain way, and it's like, it doesn't look good on his end, but it all, again, the question is, did anything happen that night? Obviously not. There's nothing that happened that night. But to say that Majors in general as a person is a good person, I think you would be incredibly ignorant to say at this point, now that everything's laid out on the table. Because I've been saying this for months, and I got a lot of blowback for saying that, and I'm pretty sure I will get blowback because people are, just thinking about Kang, thinking about the Marvel universe, and like, we want fucking Kang. We don't give Major's fucking cool, just being fucking idiots. Like, you can think that way if you want to. I mean, it's your opinion, I guess, but that's far from reality. I mean, the truth is that he's a scumbag, and he's a scumbag that will walk away without any trouble. Like, it's kind of tragic just because nothing really did happen that night, unfortunately. If something did happen that night, then yeah, he'd be opening them. There'd be more room for things to happen, but it's not gonna happen. So, so when I say that he's innocent, I say that he's innocent in this incident. In this isolated incident, he's innocent. But in terms of a person, in terms of who he is, in terms of how he's treating the people around him, he doesn't sound like a good guy in my book. He sounds very manipulative, very controlling, and like just a shithead. like just a real shithead. Like, I heard some of the audio, and I'll put it this way: anybody who professes to be a great man is clearly not a great man. Like, if you feel that confident about yourself, like he was saying in the audio, like, oh, I'm such a great guy, I'm a really good guy. It's like, if you as a person have to say that, then clearly you are not a really good person. You have to, like, good people don't brag about it. You know what I mean? Good people don't profess that they're good. Okay, nobody comes out of their way and says, I'm a really good guy, I'm a really great guy. It's like that sort of language, and then expecting your woman to act a certain way. It's like, look, I believe in standards and stuff like that. You guys, if you've watched my vlogs, it's like, yeah, I do believe that you have to have some level of standards, and I do believe that people, like, you have to have some judgments as well, but you can't start like there has to be some space between you two in a relationship. Obviously, if she's going out and, like, because apparently she has a drinking problem, so I mean, I get a little bit as to where he might be pissed, because it kind of reflects him as well to a certain measure. I mean, if my girlfriend was out drinking every night, I mean, yeah, I'd probably have an issue with that as well if she was coming home drunk every night. But I would not be talking to her in this way where I, have to dominate her. Like, that just seems wrong. Like, I would just say my piece and then you determine whether or not you want to fix it or not. Otherwise, then it's over, Like, I give you the choice. I'm not forcing you. I'm giving you the choice. That's the main difference, you know. A little bit of respect that, has to go into it, You can't just force people to do things. Like, yes, like it's bad, but ultimately you have to let them make that decision for themselves and see if they're willing to improve and not make that judgment for them or make that choice for them. Because then that creates toxicity. That's when you start to become controlling and manipulative and all these other things. And that's what I see in Majors. That's just what I see in him. I don't see a nice guy. I see a very manipulative, controlling figure. Abusive. And I think Hollywood also sees that as well, because his star is gone. Like, especially in this day and age, like, no. He's not, you're never going to see that dude back as Kang. That's over. That's never happening again. Especially with Disney. Disney absolutely is not bringing him back. It does not matter. If they're not bringing Johnny Depp back, they're not bringing this fucker back. So, like, it's done. So that's not going to happen. But my view on it, based on what I've read, based on following the case, is that this isolated incident is more tragic because what those text messages highlight, what that audio highlights, is someone who is controlling another individual and is forcing them to make decisions they clearly don't want to do, jeopardizing their mental health for their ego, like he sounds like a piece of shit to me. So, but he'll walk away fine because there's no proof of him doing anything wrong. I mean, that's the thing. This is not like if she wanted to like sue him, it's like sue him for something else, like, because nothing happened that night. Like, really, I don't see what happened that night rather than him shoving you in the car. But that's like, unless there's other proof that I'm not aware of that he laid hands on her that night. Like, I don't, from as far as I can see, there wasn't anything that happened that night. Like, really nothing. So, and like I said, I say it's tragic because, like, there is like proof of other occurrences prior to this, like, the best way to put it is, like, this was the explosion. Like, this was kind of like the tipping point, but no one's at fault for the explosion. It just happened, I mean, Jonathan is for just fucking, for how he treated her, but it's like the actual event, no one's responsible for it because nothing, like, what ignited it was a text message, but like ultimately that's still like up in the air, and it's not a crime to cheat on someone, like, that's just how it is. So yeah, I've dedicated like 20 minutes to this, but yeah, I think that he's a scumbag, and I really don't believe that he's innocent. He's innocent in this, but generally speaking, no. And he's probably gonna go he's probably gonna be found not guilty. So, which he should, because it's, nothing happened. But if we were talking about other things, if we were in court for other things, then different story at that point. So.